Welcome back to Fre Emblem. We're into the end game. It's time to take out Lundgren. Chapter 10. Everything's coming to a close. As a villain, I guess Lundgren's alright, but he's coming to a close now. Didn't really ever get much development, but that's just sort of how it works in Fre Emblem. You never really get a fleshed out villain. At least not from the very limited experience I've had with the series. But yeah, it's time to take the final charge and go and take out Lundgren, take out his troops, solve all these problems with murder. So yeah, this is the final chapter of Lin's story, and at this point, just go all out. Don't worry about preserving weapons. If you don't really want to, you don't have to worry about preserving your units anymore. Just do whatever it takes to win, really. This is the end, the finale. Just let loose at this point. There's no reward for being frugal in this part. Now, actually, you should, though, note that it's worth performing well. You are rewarded for your performance during these 10 chapters. So, keep that in mind. Don't do terribly, but yeah, this is it. This is the end. Lin's story is coming to a close with this part. And so, I think the big thing to take away from this: spam the Manikari. It's really good weapon. Now, there are two specific gimmicks to this stage. One I'll get into a bit later, but the other one's coming up right away. Rain. The stage is going to periodically be flooded with rain, and it's basically a massive time waster because it reduces everyone's movement to ridiculously few squares. It'll be like 2 squares maybe, or maybe like 1. Sometimes they got maybe 3. It's really, really annoying, but it affects enemies too. So it's basically it's like that force field thing in Star Wars Episode 1 that basically just made the entire fight come to a halt for no reason. I can't think of any like strategic elements to this because there's not really anything that benefits slowing down you and your enemy unless you need to retreat and heal or something, maybe. So yeah, it basically just slows down your progress significantly. So yeah, this is actually the first stage where I had a death. When I was trying to take out Lundgren, I assumed that Lin would have some sort of exclusive dialogue. So I wanted her to fight him, and he was ridiculously powerful and he destroyed Lin. Yeah, and because if Lin dies, then the game just ends, so yeah. So this is actually my second time through, so I know what I'm doing a bit better this time too. I fumbled a bit the first time. Strangely, there aren't actually a whole lot of enemies in this final stage, though. They really don't try and beat you with numbers in this case. The really big deal at the end is Lundgren himself. He is a massive threat. I haven't actually figured it out for everyone yet, but the level that you finish with each character also has some effect on the future of this game as well, too, so I guess keep that in mind. I guess I should note that you don't want to break the Monocotti, so if it does get that low, don't. Swear my options. Donk. Yay, Divine Judgment from Florina. She'll take out an archer. I'm actually surprised how frequently in Fire Emblem I use Pegasus Knights to take out archers. Because Pegasus Knights have really huge range, so they're actually sometimes the only efficient way to take out a dangerous archer, because archers are really lightly clothed, so they have good movement, and then the extra bit of range they have because of their weapon means that, yeah, they can be really, really threatening to anything except, ironically, the class that's basically built around being weak to them. So yeah, it's kind of weird. So yeah, here's the other gimmick. Lundgren is a general. Iron weapons can't do a thing to him. So yeah, that can be a problem. Any non-iron weapon at all, though, will be able to do damage. The Monocotti can pierce his armor. Let's see, what else do we have lying around? Basically, any weapon that isn't iron, as long as it doesn't say iron in its name, it's all good. But yeah, there is actually a store where you can buy non-iron weapons if you need them. Honestly, not the best investment though. This is the final stage. The store is a bit out of the way too. You have to knock down a snag and such to actually get to it. Yeah, it's actually not as useful as they make it seem. So, I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of a bit of, like, this stage has two very annoying gimmicks in the rain and the general mechanics. Oh, come on, that's 42%. And yeah, there you go. Significantly reduced movement range now. Yeah. Your slower units are pretty much useless at this point. They get one space to move per turn because of this. Now, don't do what that girl in the house said, though, and just sit around waiting for the rain to end, because you can still move. But yeah, this is going to extend the time this match takes by quite a bit. I'm not actually sure if rain affects anything else, like maybe accuracy or something like that, because they are supposed to be like running in mud, but I don't know. This is fast moving rain, jeez. Ugh, the pace is just destroyed. Ugh. I'm really not sure what this mechanic is supposed to do. It just really slows things down and doesn't really serve any other purpose. It's kind of obnoxious. And there you go, rain gone. Now everything's back to normal-ish. Oh yeah, I didn't really touch on this, but they did mention that mounted units are especially vulnerable to rain, so you can chalk that up to another weakness mounted units have. They are pretty much vulnerable to every possible downside. They can't climb mountains, they can't run in rain. Pretty much everything out there can slow them down. It's like, they're like, oh, these people can move one space faster than everyone else. Guess we better nerf them to high heaven. Animation never gets old. Now, everyone, quick. Three Stooges your way through that bridge. But yeah, so much for everything, hey? It's like, there's not a whole lot actually being thrown at you. There's been like, what, 5 enemies? I wonder if smoother animation would be better or worse for Fire Emblem with 2D stuff. Because like right now, it isn't. There aren't that many frames in the animation. It's just really well like put together. But I don't know. So yet again, it's not really clear, but this little forest area is actually a hill, and it will significantly reduce the movement of your characters in that area. Just a pro tip. I think sending in a low MDef unit into a magic unit was a really smart decision on my part, JS. And then wasting a more useful weapon on just breaking down a twig, also very useful. But yeah, kind of leaves things a bit, I don't know, unclosed, for lack of a better wordsmithing on my part. Like, it is kind of a weirdly abrupt end in a weird sort of way. Like, it's just like, oh, we're catching up with him. We caught up. The end. Spoilers, there is significantly more to this game than just this, but this is still the end of Lynn's story. I would have expected some sort of dialogue from Lundgren by this point, but oh well. Yay, Wrath! You're actually doing something. This may be the first time you've actually done something. Isn't it? Actually, yeah, nothing but had I actually used Wrath for anything up to this point? Jeez. Poor guy. Yeah, it may not be raining, but everyone's still not moving much. It's weird actually, now that I think about it, in Fire Emblem Awakening, it's 3D obviously, so it's much more clear if something's like on a hill or something like that, but I'm pretty sure they actually don't give you movement detriments when you try and go up a hill, so that's kind of weird. Huh. Yeah, now you can actually just basically have a unit there to break all of the enemies against them. I suggest Kent or Sane, but you can throw in anyone really that can take a few hits. But yeah, Rain's coming back. We'll see where that goes next time.
Bye.